In the late 1970s, a massive landslide tore into the cliff face of Orvieto, Italy, just meters from its famous cathedral. The collapse exposed something extraordinary, mysterious openings in the rock face, like dark windows leading into an unknown world. Local speleologists, intrigued by urban legends claiming Orvieto was hollow beneath, rappelled down the 100-meter cliff using ropes tied to trees. What they discovered inside left them stunned. Square rooms connected by galleries, illuminated by small windows to the outside. Room after room in overlapping levels, joined by short wells and narrow tunnels leading deep into the rock's heart. They'd found an entire underground city, over 1,200 caves, tunnels, wells, and cisterns, carved across 3 millennia. And for centuries, nobody knew it existed. Let's start with what makes Orvieto so remarkable. The city sits on a flat-topped volcanic plateau made of tufa soft volcanic rock that rises 150 meters above the surrounding valley. The Etruscans settled here in the 9th century BC, establishing what they called Belsna, one of their most important cities. The location was perfect for defense, steep cliffs on all sides, commanding views of the territory, natural fortress. But there was one critical problem: no water source on top of the plateau. The springs were down in the valley outside the city walls, completely exposed to enemies during a siege. So the Etruscans did something extraordinary. They began digging straight down through the volcanic rock. They carved deep wells with rectangular shafts, some reaching 130 feet into the earth. Along the longest walls of these wells, they cut regular intervals of small notches, called plateau footholds, that made it possible to climb up and down the vertical channels. These weren't simple holes in the ground. The precision is remarkable: rectangular shafts with engineered handholds and footholds, designed for efficient water collection and access. The volcanic tuff proved ideal, soft enough to carve with hand tools, yet stable enough to create lasting structures. And this water infrastructure proved its worth. When the Romans laid siege to Orvieto in 264 BC, the Etruscans held them off for 2 years specifically because their underground wells and cisterns gave them independent water access. The city only fell after internal conflicts weakened their defense, not because the Romans breached their fortifications, but the underground system didn't stop with the Etruscans. Over the next 2,500 years, every generation added to it. Medieval inhabitants expanded the network dramatically. By the time excavation stopped in the 20th century, the system included not just wells and cisterns, but grottos, galleries, shelters, quarries, and cellars, all built haphazardly in overlapping layers connected by a maze of tunnels. The underground spaces served incredibly diverse purposes. Food production was major. Archaeologists found an entire medieval olive press operation, the Mill of St. Clair, complete, with large basalt millstones for crushing olives, furnaces, storage structures, and troughs for the animals that powered the millstones. This wasn't small scale. It supplied fresh oil for the entire town and operated continuously from the Middle Ages through at least the end of the 17th century. Then there's the pigeon breeding chambers. Sections of underground walls are covered with small, regularly spaced cubbies called columbaria. These provided pigeons with roosts, and pigeons provided a crucial renewable protein source during sieges. Roast pigeon is still a popular dish in Orvieto today. The rectangular dovecotes had small windows to the outside, allowing birds to fly in and out while residents harvested them for food. The constant cool temperatures underground, about 57 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, made the caves perfect for wine and food storage. Wine cellars, grain storage, temperature-controlled chambers for preserving food. This wasn't just about survival, it was sophisticated resource management. Some spaces housed pottery kilns, taking advantage of the ventilation systems and protected environment. Quarries provided building materials, tough travertine sand, and pozzolana, while simultaneously creating new underground spaces. Every excavation served double duty, extracting resources while expanding usable space. Noble families constructed secret escape tunnels leading beyond the city walls. If the city came under attack, They could disappear underground and emerge outside the fortifications, a private emergency exit carved through solid rock. And more recently, during World War II, residents used these ancient chambers as bomb shelters. While Orvieto itself was declared an open city and mostly spared from raids, the valley below was heavily targeted. Citizens retreated into the darkness meters below ground, sitting on stone benches carved by Etruscans 2,500 years earlier, listening to muffled explosions and hoping the rock would hold. Think about that continuity. The same spaces used by ancient Etruscans for water storage were repurposed by medieval residents for olive oil production and then served as air raid shelters in the 1940s. Across 2,500 years, these chambers adapted to whatever each generation needed. Here's what makes the 1970s discovery so remarkable. This massive underground complex had been almost completely forgotten. As Orvieto modernized, the underground spaces fell into disuse. People knew there were caves. Many homes and shops still accessed their own private cellars, but nobody grasped the scale or interconnectedness of the system. Over 1,200 distinct structures carved into multiple levels, many interconnected, creating a three-dimensional maze beneath the entire city. Urban legends persisted. Locals whispered about Orvieto being hollow beneath, but these were dismissed as exaggerated folklore. Then came the landslide at the end of the 1970s, near the convent of St. Clair. The collapse was seriously threatening the stability of the cliff and raising concerns about the survival of Orvieto's historic buildings and irreplaceable art. But it also exposed those mysterious openings in the cliff face. Local speleologists, already curious about the urban legends, saw their chance. They tied ropes to trees along the city's perimeter and rappelled down the multi-sided butte. Inside, they found square rooms linked by galleries, illuminated by small windows. Room after room in overlapping levels, narrow tunnels requiring crawling on hands and knees leading deeper into the rock. Wells and chutes connecting different levels, and everywhere, evidence of human craftsmanship tool, marks left by Etruscan hands over 2,500 years ago. One speleologist described it, after lighting it up again after centuries of darkness, seeing the yellow glimmer of acetylene. The big ashlars of tuff skillfully overlapped by the Etruscans in the 5th century before Christ. The collaboration between speleologists and archaeologists that followed made systematic study possible. They mapped the corridors, documented the wells, cataloged the chambers. The extent was staggering. A dark labyrinth subdivided into over 1,200 caves, tunnels, wells, and reservoirs, created by continuous work across nearly 3 millennia. The Orvieto Underground forces us to reconsider what ancient civilizations could achieve without modern technology. The Etruscans didn't have power tools. They carved these chambers using hand picks, blow after blow through volcanic rock. Yet they created ventilation systems sophisticated enough to keep air flowing through deep chambers. They engineered water collection systems that kept a city of 30,000 people supplied during sieges. They calculated structural stability well enough that chambers carved 2,500 years ago are still intact today. The geological characteristics of the tuff were both blessing and curse. The rock is so friable you can almost scratch it with fingernails, which made excavation possible with primitive tools. But this same softness made the cliff prone to landslides and instability. Yet ancient engineers understood how to work with this material, where to dig, how to support structures, how to prevent collapse. The layered complexity is remarkable. The underground isn't a single level, it's multiple overlapping networks. Upper chambers connect to lower chambers through vertical wells. Horizontal tunnels link different sections. Some passages dead end. Others branch into new galleries. It's three-dimensional urban planning executed without blueprints or surveying equipment. Modern analysis using electrical resistivity tomography and geological investigations has revealed even more. The underground extends far deeper than initially suspected. The foundation geometry of structures like Orvieto Cathedral connects to these ancient excavations. The entire city above and below ground forms an integrated system. Pause. Since the 1990s, a small portion of this underground world has been open for public tours. Two of the largest caves owned by the city part of the complex, called Parco delle Grotte, offer guided visits. But here's the scale we're talking about. The public tours covered just 2 caves out of 1,200. The rest? Almost all remain private property. Nearly every building in Orvieto's historic center sits above its own caves, used as cantinas, storage, or simply left sealed. Many homeowners don't even know the full extent of what's beneath their feet. In 1972, one homeowner expanding his cellar accidentally broke through into unknown tunnels, sparking the broader rediscovery. Further excavation has been banned to preserve structural stability. But archaeological work continues at authorized sites. St. Anselm College runs a summer program where students excavate at the Cariglia site just outside town. Each season reveals new artifacts, new chambers, new insights into how this underground city functioned. The tours that are available showcase the highlights: the Etruscan wells with their carved handholds, the medieval olive press with its massive millstones, the pigeon breeding chambers with thousands of small roosts, the World War II bomb shelter with its carved stone benches. Walking through these spaces, you're literally stepping through 2,500 years of continuous human activity, but we're still only seeing a fraction. Imagine what's still hidden in the 1,998 other caves and tunnels, the ones that remain private, unexplored, or simply forgotten again. So here's what Orvieto's underground represents: a 2,500-year engineering project spanning from Etruscan times through World War II. Over 1,200 carved spaces serving everything from water supply to bomb shelters. A forgotten labyrinth rediscovered by accident. A 3-dimensional city beneath the city, documented but largely inaccessible. The Etruscans solved an impossible problem, building a defensible city with no water source. Their solution carved down to 130 feet of volcanic rock set in motion, millennia of continuous excavation. Each generation added chambers for their own needs. The result is a physical record of human adaptation, carved in stone. Today, most of this underground world remains hidden. Private property laws, structural concerns, and sheer scale mean most chambers stay sealed. But what we can access shows us something profound. Ancient peoples didn't just live on the land, they transformed it in ways we're still discovering. The landslide in the 1970s revealed one section. Who knows what else is down there? What other chambers, artifacts, or engineering marvels are waiting in the darkness, separated from us by just a few feet of volcanic rock and property boundaries? Orvieto's underground isn't just archaeology. It's a reminder that human ingenuity finds solutions we can barely imagine, even without modern tools. And sometimes it takes a disaster to reveal just how remarkable those solutions were. Drop a comment with your thoughts on what else might be hidden in those 1,200 tunnels.